Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends. This time we're going to be focusing on Annie. This is taken from a ranked game. This is a placement match that I'm playing. It's actually the very first placement game that I played in ranked. So I don't quite have a tier or division where this is placed just yet. But we are going to be focusing on the Annie player in this game, and it's been a very long time since I had a chance to do some Annie gameplay and feature it on my channel. Annie is a casting champion. She is a burst mage. She is the champion that I featured in a lot of my really early videos back when, like 2010, 2011, back when I didn't own very many champions. There were no replays. I could only use footage from champions that I actually owned and that just were coming from me recording myself while playing. So if you look way back to like the first 20 or 30 videos that I put on this channel, almost 10 years ago, a lot of them were focusing on Annie, but I haven't done much with Annie recently. She's not that popular of a champion. She was played for a while as a support champion, but she's kind of moved back to mid lane now. She's certainly playable. She's not like a top tier champion by any means, but she certainly is someone that you can play, and she still retains basically the same role that she has had since the early days of League of Legends. She is a burst caster. If she gets ahead, she is very good at 100 to 0ing enemy champions. And she brings a decent amount of crowd control to the team with her passive. So first, let me go ahead and walk through the laning matchups in this one. In the top lane, the blue team is going to have a Kled player up against a Jarvan player on the red team. In mid, the Annie player is going to be up against an Ezreal player for my team. The bottom lane is going to be a Lucian and Bard pairing against a Vayne and Lux pairing. And then the junglers are going to be Rammus for the blue team and Pyke. Yes, a jungle Pyke. Is that good? No, not really. But yes, a jungle Pyke for the red team, the team that I am playing on. Alright, so I mentioned that Annie's gameplay is based around her passive. So let me go ahead and highlight that as a starting point right here. Annie's passive, Pyromania, every 4 spell cast, the next offensive spell will stun its target for 1.25 seconds. So there is a little meter on Annie. If you look just above her head, there is a little meter that charges up. She has 2 ticks on it right now. She gets a third one right there as she casts her Q spell. And you will see that as she casts spells that increases when it gets to 4. And right now she's got her stun up. There's also a little like swirling graphical effect around Annie when she has her stun up. So 2 different ways to see whether she has her stun up or where she is in her spell progression. This is a change from Annie when she was first created. It was originally every 5 spellcasts with stun. Now it is every 4. Right here, the jungle Pyke is going to come in and try to gank, and the Annie player doesn't really seem to have any difficulty getting out of that. And she also even procs the electrocute on her rune choice, which I believe is standard for Annie. I'd have to go back and look at what people are playing at higher skill levels, but I believe that electrocute is standard on her. Or no, never mind. She actually doesn't have electrocute. She has Dark Harvest. Never mind. I'm totally wrong on that. She must have procced Dark Harvest there. Okay. Meanwhile, in comes Rammus. He's going to come in, and we're going to see flashes popped on both sides, but Ezreal is going to burn both his flash and his cleanse, and he is going to make it out of this lane. It was a good gank by Rammus. The only real issue there is Annie and Rammus both flashed after Ezreal. They probably would have been better off just taking the 2 summoners blown. Instead, they both flash after and don't get anything. But they did drive Ezreal out of lane, so that's going to allow Annie to farm and get some early shove advantage in this lane, and that's always a good thing to have. Ezreal's back at base. Wow, he is taking a long time back at base. Very slow to purchase. So he's going to end up losing this full wave, and Annie, you can see, is now 10 minion kills ahead. So we covered Annie's passive. We covered her Pyromania passive, that every 4 spellcasts, the next one will stun. Now let's run through some of her other skills. Her Q skill is called Disintegrate. Deals magic damage, mana cost, and half the cooldown are refunded if Disintegrate kills the target. So this is her bread and butter skill. This is her main farming skill here. You use this to, well, kill minions. It doesn't deal that much flat damage. You can see even with, 2 points in the skill, it only does 115 damage, but AP ratio is pretty good. It looks like it's around 0.8, 0.75, 0.8, somewhere around there, so it scales pretty well. Big advantage, super low cooldown, only 4-second cooldown, so it is up very frequently, and it does make it quite easy to farm with Annie, because as long as she kills a minion with it, as long as it kills the target, the mana cost is refunded, and half the cooldown is refunded too. It did not used to do that a number of years ago, but it does refund half the cooldown if you actually get a kill. So yeah, that's actually not so great by Annie there. She missed getting the cannon creep, and she's leaving a lot of these minions just barely off from enough to get the kill, and then to get the mana refund and to get that cooldown reduction. So missing on a couple of these, unfortunately, but this is the skill that you skill first on Annie, and it is a skill that you know, gives her laning presence and kind of sets up the rest of her skills. We've got Rammus coming in for a gank, but Ezreal is just able to blink over the wall, and he is going to be just fine as a result of that. Alright, let me cover Annie's next skill. This is her W skill, Incinerate. This is on a much longer cooldown. Incinerate is an area of effect spell, casts a cone of fire, dealing magic damage to all enemies in the area. I believe the AP ratio is slightly higher. I believe that this skill does more damage, however it is very short range, and it does not, of course, lower the cooldown when you get a kill, and it does not refund the mana cost. So it's a bit short range. Generally speaking, Annie, what you want to do is to stun somebody when her stun's up with the Q, and then follow it up with the W when they can't move and when they can't get out of the way. But the W is also, it does fire in a cone, so you can hit more than one person with it, whereas you never can hit more than one person at a time with Q. It is a point-and-click skill. It can't be dodged, but it does only hit one person at a time. So we got Jungle Pike coming down here to look for a gank. He is going to go for the Bone Skewer, and Lucian's going to dash out of the way of that, but we are going to go ahead and get some initial damage on him. It's a nice Bard stun, going to hit two of us. I do not know why Pike flashed backwards. I think he was okay, so that is not going to turn into a kill there. However, Rammus is lurking, so we'll keep an eye on him as he clears the Scuttle Crab. Generally, Pike's been ganking a lot, but he hasn't really been able to do so effectively, at least not yet in this game. So right there, Annie's going to use her ultimate. She just hit level 6. Tibbers is chasing after her. There is going to be an auto attack and an ignite, and that's going to be enough to claim the kill on Ezreal. So Annie just gets the straight up solo kill in lane against Ezreal right there. Since we didn't get around to talking about Annie's ult yet, let me just go ahead and highlight some of her other skills. First, I'll highlight her E. This is her 1-point skill. You will skill this last if you're playing as Annie. Molten Shield, when it's popped, Annie grants herself and Tibbers damage reduction for 3 seconds while the shield's active. Enemies who take basic attack it. So when people attack Annie, that's kind of a poorly written sentence. When the shield's active, enemies who attack Annie take additional magic damage. Oh, I guess does the shield also apply to Tibbers? I guess it applies to Tibbers as well, so maybe that's why it's written that way. But this is your 1-point skill. It gives you a small amount of damage reduction, and then also if anyone who attacks the target takes damage. The main thing that you use her E for is to cycle through to get her stun up faster. That's the main reason why I use this. I mean, yes, it's nice to take slightly less damage, but Annie has very, very low base health. She cannot stand in a fight at all. Her role is to be a caster. Her role is to blow people up. I mean, she's like an 8-year-old girl, so she's not going to be able to frontline in fights with or without the E. And she cannot cast the E on anyone else, can only be used on herself. Ezreal actually gets in a nice little combo there. He manages to hit on his E, on his, what is his E? His, oh no, not his E, his W, his Essence Flux, and then he was able to get in the Q. So yeah, he's actually getting in some pretty good traits here. However, there is one crippling mistake that Ezreal has made in his build, and Ezreal has not picked up any magic resistance whatsoever, so he still only has 32 magic resistance, and that means he's going to be very vulnerable to Annie. He probably needed to itemize Merc Treads early on in this lane, because otherwise an Annie that's gotten an early kill is just going to snowball ahead, and it's just going to do so much damage. Pike's coming in. Let's see if he can hit the Bone Skewer. He does hit the Bone Skewer, so that is going to pull Annie in. But Ezreal then, instead of just like attacking and using his skills, decides to spend a second and a half channeling his ult. And while he does hit that ult, that slow windup means he's not using his skills or auto-attacking, so I don't think that that was the best choice right there. Oh, and Annie now going to flash in. She is going to use Tibbers, and oh, Ezreal's on one hit, but Annie does not have her Ignite up. Maybe should have waited to go for the Flash Tibbers play when she had Ignite up, because that would have been a very easy kill if she did. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, we're going to see Rammus coming into gank, but Vayne gets off a really nice condemn down here, and now continues chasing on this fight. However, Bard is incoming. It's going to be a taunt on Vayne. I am going to hit on my binding, but I missed the laser, and that's unfortunate. Even though I'm able to clean up the kill with my pool afterwards, if I hit that laser, we get the kill on Rammus, and then Vayne is probably able to get out of that because she was being taunted. So that's a pretty significant mistake there. Even though we go 1 for 1, I think if the laser is just on target, Rammus dies and Vayne maybe gets out of there. She did have flash and heal up. It is a little bit on her not using either of the summoners. That's not so great, but I definitely could have played that better. Meanwhile, in mid, so Annie got the 1 kill initially. It forced Ezreal to back, even though she did not get the kill on Ezreal. Ezreal lost a lot of minion kills, so now Ezreal's down 20 minion kills in mid. And note that Ezreal still has not picked up any magic resistance whatsoever, and that is going to be a problem because Annie, once you start stacking ability power, if you don't itemize at least some kind of MR, you're going to be in trouble. Also, Ezreal hasn't even stacked health. I mean, at the very least, if he's not going to do that, get some kind of item that has health on it. Fortunately for our team, Jarvan seems to be winning top, so that's good. We need to have at least one lane that's doing that. Annie's going to get in the stun there, though. She got in her Q stun, then followed it up with W. W did not hit and dodges the Bone Skewer again. While I've got a second here, let's highlight her ultimate, Summon Tibbers. When you cast her ultimate, summons Tibbers, deals and Rammus powerballs in, but it looks like he doesn't get the kill. So when her ults up, you summon Tibbers, giant bear, her little teddy bear becomes a real bear, burns nearby. It deals magic damage on the initial cast. We've actually got a fight going on down here, but looks like that's already over. So yeah, we were able to get a kill down there. So summons initial teddy bear, deals damage when it's cast, continues to deal damage over time. There's the stun. Ezreal's going to cleanse it, but ignites on him. He can't cleanse that, and he's going to end up dying right there. So that's a kill. And we actually had a fight in bottom lane too, so let me back up and show you this. Alright, so down here, we see Vayne wants to go in and pick a fight. We did get a kill earlier on the Bard player, so Vayne is going to look to go in. I'm going to hit the shield. Vayne's going to use her heal, but I can't get in position to bind because there are too many minions in the way. And although we do go 1-for-1, it's not enough to save Vayne's life. And elsewhere, Rammus got a kill on Pyke. Oh, that was a dip. I'm sorry, I'll back up and watch this too. Sorry to keep jumping around the map like this, but now Pyke's going to look to come in here. Should have watched the back end of this fight. Pyke is going to miss his stun on Annie. And so now Annie's going to get off a second stun with her W. And yeah, Rammus cleans that up. So overall, we went 2-for-1 in bot lane, but we went 0-for-2 in mid lane and came out definitely behind. So now Ezreal's 0-2, Annie's 2-0-1. She's sitting on a lot of gold, and she is once again doing what she should be doing. She is pushing to the tower, going to deny these minions to the Ezreal player, who is going to use his ult. Not quite enough damage to finish that off. But yeah, Annie's going to go back, going to deny more minions. She's now 30 minion kills ahead and up 2 kills. So Annie is going to be sitting on 2,000 gold. She should probably be able to finish her Luden's Echo here. And at this point, with an Annie being this far ahead in mid, she's pretty much just off to the races. Actually, even getting a very late refillable potion. I probably wouldn't get one if you're not buying it until 11 minutes, but I guess I had just enough gold to get it, so why not? In the meantime, let's go ahead and look back. I didn't get a chance to finish talking about Tibbers because there was action all over the map. So as I said, Tibbers deals damage when he's cast. Tibbers also then continues to burn nearby enemies for, it's basically like a Sunfire cape effect, keeps dealing magic damage per second to nearby targets. And he can also auto attack. You can control Tibbers by either alt clicking or you can also hit R. And also when Tibbers dies, he becomes enraged and will just like chase after enemy champs. You can see he gains attack speed and movement speed when Annie dies, which is new. That's relatively recent in Annie's kit. I actually wasn't aware of this when playing. So Annie now has 128 ability power, and again with Ezreal has built no health and no magic resistance at all, he is extremely vulnerable to Annie. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Unfortunately, pretty much anytime Annie has flash or ignite up, she can essentially kill the Ezreal player at will, because all she has to do is flash on him, use Tibbers, use the rest of her skills, use ignite, and Ezreal's going to die because he has just no survivability whatsoever. And let's see, Annie actually she basically has her stun up right now. All she has to do is hit E to pop on her Molten Shield and her stun's ready. And she just did that, so now her stun's up. And she's not going for the play right now against Ezreal, but that threat is always there. And in particular, Flash and Ignite are not too far away from coming off cooldown. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if Annie wants to go for a play once those summoners are both back up. You really need to be aware of whether or not Annie has her flash up, because Flash Tibbers is one of the most consistent ways of engaging in League of Legends. That's been around for like ages and ages and ages, and especially if you are behind, you're in a lot of trouble. Now Annie, of course, very low survivability. She has no escapes. She is very susceptible to being ganked. That has not happened in this game. Pyke has come mid a couple times, but hasn't really been successful. Now here, Vayne is going to get grabbed by the Bard player, and now she's going to flash out of that. However, it's not enough. Lucian is going to finish that off, and there's not a whole lot that the team can do, that I can do right there. Once Vayne gets stunned, not much I can do. So there's a flash in, and yeah, that's what happens when Annie gets ahead. She does that. That wasn't even a very clean flash. Ezreal had time, I think, to blink backwards if he'd done it more effectively. But even though it's kind of a forced initiation, it still works. Annie flashes in, she gets the stun, and then she just uses all her abilities. Flashed in, gets the stun, follows it up with Q and W, and then ignites. And again, because Ezreal just has no survivability on his build whatsoever, he just goes down really easily. And so now Annie's ahead 3-0-1, and Ezreal is 0-3-0. Not looking good. Oh, and there's an Infernal up. So I'm going to look to laser that. It's a poor use of Lux skill. See, if I had the laser up right now, we would be able to kill Lucian. And although I do get the kill, it was still a pretty poor use of Lux laser there. So I'm happy to take the shutdown on Lucian, but I should have waited until a binding hit to use my laser. And unfortunately, Jarvan, who was ahead earlier, has now started to lose this lane to Kled. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, considering that he was ahead early. I believe that Rammus went up there and helped out a little bit in terms of Kled, but that's not good for my team because we need at least one of these lanes to be winning. We are not winning bot. I'm actually ahead in the support matchup. If you look down here, I'm 202. I am about to hit 4,000 gold. Bard is 0-3-1. He's like 800 gold behind. But we're losing the AD matchup. We're losing top now. We're losing jungle, and mid is really what's snowballing this game. We are very, very far behind in mid. And has Ezreal learned his lesson yet? Well, no, because Ezreal still has no items that give health, aside, I guess, from the 80 health on Doran's Blade, and he still has no magic resistance either. So he is just going to die instantly to Annie anytime she wants to kill him. At this point, all she really has to do is stun him, and he's dead. Even one stun should be enough for her to get through her kit because she's ahead in level. She's 2 levels ahead. Let me just look at how much damage her skills do. So let's see, about 400 on her Q, about 300 on her Incinerate, and then Tibbers does another 400. So what is that? She's got like 1100 damage just on her basic abilities on the way through. And Ezreal has like 1200 health. Now granted, he's going to get some mitigation from magic resist, but not much. Not much. He gets, with 33 MR, he gets, I think, like 20% mitigation or something like that. Anyway, here, we're going to look to go and punish them for diving. So I'm able to punish Lucian from diving, but I can't stop Vayne from dying once again. So again, I was pretty happy with how I was playing this, but I couldn't save Vayne from repeatedly dying. She did not have her summoners up there. At least Pyke is able to clean up that kill on kind of the backside. Also, and this, I should go back and show you how this fight played out. So Bard sticking around on low health. I am looking to just clean camps underneath the tower. Meanwhile, Pyke's going to go in. He's going to get that kill. Rammus comes out of the brush. He taunts me. I flash away, and then I root him, but he flashes after me. And yeah, again, there's not a lot I can do if he's willing to flash after me to try to get the kill. So Rammus cleans me up, and that's my first step of the match so far. At least we do get top tower, but if you look at the scroll line up above, we're losing by 4,000 gold, and the game is starting to snowball against us. It doesn't help either that they took that Infernal Drake. Annie, meanwhile, she has her Ignite back up, so all she has to do is stun Ezreal, and he's going to die again. Like, if she can get a stun off, he is dead. So she really should consider just looking to come in here and, you know, pop her Molten Shield. It's up, it's off cooldown, and instead she's going to get that tower. So, yep, there's the Tibbers. He's going to cleanse out of that. And so Ezreal is going to survive. So I guess he's not dead because he did manage to cleanse out of that, but look how much damage he takes. And Annie was able to get the second tower. So Annie just sat there, shoved lane, took the first tower, sat there, shoved lane, took the second tower. And again, that shouldn't happen normally, but we have no pressure anywhere else in the game. So, and now they're rotating down. We know they're rotating down, but there's not a lot we can do. Annie just walks in. A Q is able to enough to finish off one kill, and then another QW combo. By the way, she actually gets the cooldown reset on her Q because it killed the target. So just walks in, 2 more kills. And now Annie's got 1,000 gold bounty, and yeah, so this is not looking good for our team. That Ezreal ult's going to hit, but it's not going to be quite enough damage to finish off Lucian. So Annie, she's going to be able to get another huge buy. She's sitting on another 2,000 gold here. If you want the total gold for the game, she's at 8,000, so she's 3,500 gold ahead in that lane. And we're losing everywhere except the support matchup. We are literally behind everywhere except in the support for support matchup, where I was pretty happy with how I was doing, but you know, we were unfortunately losing everywhere else. So Annie rushes the death cap second. This is an aggressive build on her. In fact, my understanding is oftentimes people go for the other item that builds out of Needlessly Large Rod. The name of it is escaping me at the moment, but it's like that swirling orb type weapon. Just because it gives her a little bit of extra movement speed and that helps her as she roams around the map. But going for Death Cap, not a bad option, especially when you get a head like this. It means Annie's up to 360 ability power, and you can see how much damage she's doing. Yeah, look at all this damage. Like, that's 500, 500. Tibbers is another 500 damage. So if she just gets her full combo off, it's going to kill almost anyone on our team. We are going to look to try to punish the enemy team for invading here. Pike is going to look to get that kill. So we pull 1 kill against Rammus, but now Annie's here, so she's going to pick up the kill on Pike. And now Vayne is her next target, and that's a good choice by Annie to go ahead and claim that. Meanwhile, we are forced to back off over here. The Jarvan player is going to come in, but now Lucian is chasing him. Tivers has become enraged, so he's going to get that kill. And let's see, can Jarvan get out of here? He's trying to dodge the Lucian ult, trying to get out of the culling, but Bard's going to flash after. And just needs 1 more auto. Yep, Bard's going to finish that off. Maybe shouldn't have stopped to do the flagpole toss, because it did slow down just enough. So we end up losing that fight. Annie was shut down, so we did pick up a nice kill bonus for shutting down Annie, but we end up losing that fight, and they are able to, you know, continue shoving here, getting more pressure on our turret here in mid. Ezreal actually is going to land that W and then an auto attack, but it's not quite enough. Meanwhile, over here, I'm looking to try to clear their vision. If I can catch one of them in a binding, that might be enough. Or if I can manage to get a laser off on one of these targets. But we are continuing to get shoved back in, and we really are losing pretty much every lane in the game right now. So we're somewhat limited in what we can do, and they're going to ward up our jungle on the way out. Ezreal ult, nope, not quite enough damage. Unfortunately, that's kind of been the story in this game. Now, that's a nice bone skewer there, and it is going to be enough for us to pick up that kill. So we clean up 1 kill right there. And now the question is, can we look to do anything? So I'm going to ping the Infernal Drake. We did score a kill. We really need to skeetle this if we're going to have any chance of winning. So I'm going to get off a full Lux combo there. It's not enough to kill Annie, but unfortunately there's not much I can do. Rammus comes in. Annie did miss her combo on me, so we're going to kill Annie, and that's not bad. Again, Annie is so strong that getting that shutdown is pretty big, so I'm happy to trade my life for that of Annie. And we were able to get... Yeah, so we go 1 for 1 there. Unfortunately, though, we're trying to defend against Kled in bottom lane. They were able to grab the Rift Herald, and so nobody's really here to stop Rammus from taking this Infernal Drake. Going to continue chasing after... Oh, boy, I was going to say continue chasing after Kled. Pike tries to ult, but he dies before he can get his ult off. And the rest of the team's still fighting this. Their team is actually broken off the Infernal Drake. And yeah, this is not working. Jarvan's going to try to get the dunk, but Rammus is tanking that, and now Vayne is killing herself on Rammus due to the fact that Rammus has that Thorn Mail. So Lucian ends up claiming the Infernal. So in the net result, they claim the Infernal. They score a whole bunch of kills at the back end of that. I think they ended up going like 4 for 1 after I was dead. And somehow I'm able to get the Summoner heal out of Lucian there. I don't know why he used that. Guess he thought he was in more danger than he actually was. So again, I was reasonably happy with how things were going for me there. Like there wasn't a lot I could do when I was able to catch Annie in a full combo, but unfortunately the Rammus player powerballed in and I couldn't do anything once he taunted me. And over here, watch, I'm going to catch the Rammus player, I'm going to get him low, he's going to be forced to flash. And our team, we can't really chase that into a kill, but I mean, we get another flash out of Rammus as a result of hitting him in a binding. But now Annie is lurking, and uh-oh, this is trouble. We do have vision on her being here, but she's still going to land her Tivers onto Vayne, and Tivers doing a lot of damage. I hit another binding, but Annie still gets the kill. And I did get the vision down there too, so I feel like I'm kind of dueling against Annie, but the problem is Annie had a solo lane's worth of farm, and I've been working with like a support level worth of income, so I just don't have the resources I need to kind of like duel with Annie in these fights. She has way more ability power, and she even just picked up a kill on Ezreal. Let's see how she killed Ezreal. Alright, so Ezreal's trying to come through the brush. We have vision on the enemy team there, so he probably shouldn't be getting up. No, we can still see Annie. Oh, for some reason he goes in anyway. Stun. Wow, that was just a Q and a W. Wow. Okay, Annie has 500 ability power. This is getting ugly at this point. But it does demonstrate what happens. Annie has a double Infernal Drake. Annie's gotten way far ahead. She has 10 kills on the match. It's, you know, if she runs into someone in the jungle, there's not much we can do. And in fact, you're going to see this once again. So I know Annie's mid. I'm trying to clear this ward, but I do not run the safe way. I should have run this way. Instead, I walk into Annie, and you can see I just get popped in an instant. But that is a bad mistake on my part. We had just seen Annie mid. It's not surprising that she would choose to rotate over in this direction. If I wanted to head that way, I should have just walked the safe way. I did not walk the safe way, and I am punished for it by getting blown up in an instant by Annie. So that is a bad death on my part. First 2 deaths I was reasonably happy with. One time Rammus splashed on top of me. The second time Rammus powerballed into me after I got a full combo off on a high priority target. So I was happy with the first 2, but not that one. In any case, Kled's trying to run away, and what is our team doing? They're over chasing. Cannot chase this far away from the base. This is just, it's never going to end well. I was watching this and I was like, yeah, they're so dead. Both of these two are 100% dead. And there's not much we're going to be able to do. So yeah, the rest of the enemy team shows up. They are a million miles away from any of our towers, a million miles away from safety. And, I mean, like I said, you know how this is going to end. So, over here, Annie is solo pushing, and this is a strategic mistake by Annie. She should not be over here. I am going to go ahead and look to help us against the Annie player. Unfortunately, Tibbers is still attacking me. I'm going to get the root on Annie, but what I did not realize was that Tibbers would continue chasing me. I actually thought that Tibbers would die when Annie died, because that's what used to happen. But no, Tibbers gets enraged. I was like, oh, okay. So I learned something this game. I learned that if you kill Annie, Tibbers will keep chasing you. And unfortunately, he had just enough damage to finish me off at the tail end of that. I actually should have survived that. I had a refillable potion charge. I did not drink. If I just drunk my potion, I would have survived that. So enemy team continuing to chase. We're looking to grab someone with Pyke, but it's not happening. I will say that Pyke jungle, not really that effective in this game. Didn't really work out that well. Like, neat, kind of a cute idea, but not working. Now we're trying to chase down Kled again, but once again, he's able to escape. Vayne's going to continue chasing, and she actually does get the shutdown that time, followed by a Bard ult. But while that's going on, they're just kind of slowly getting more and more damage on our base. They really probably should have looked to take a Baron already, but instead they're taking the more aggressive route. I'm going to pick off Lucian there with a nice Lux Laser. So we've gotten, what, 2 kills here, and now it's Rammus we're looking to chase after, and Vayne's going to go backwards, and we're going to claim that kill too. So I was like, great, let's go to Baron. We just killed 3 of them, plus their jungler. Let's go to Baron. And the rest of the team decides, it's like, nope, let's walk back into our own base again. And I was like, ah. What a mistake. We've gotten this golden opportunity. We just killed 3 of them. We got a kill in their jungler. We could run to Baron. We could probably do it, but whole team recalls. And yeah, just goes back to clear minions, which of course we do need to do, but this just felt like to me an opportunity not taken. We had a golden chance there because the enemy team decided that they were going to feed us 3 kills in really unnecessary fashion. And so instead of taking a major objective, we just basically do nothing, and then now everybody on the enemy team's back up again, and there's still 7,000 gold ahead. So just felt like that was an opportunity where we needed to use that time. And even if the Baron was risky, which I agree it most certainly would have been, we needed to go for it. Now, unfortunately, Annie's right here, and I make another mistake. Annie can just pop me so easily. I did not have flash up, but we saw her coming. We had a ward here. I should not have been anywhere near. That situation. So that's another bad death. As I said, 2 of the deaths in this game I think were pretty bad. And I did in fact, now granted this was after Annie was already super duper strong in this game, but I think I could have done more to avoid those deaths and be up for situations like this, because obviously we can't fight for a Cloud Drake with me being dead right there, and it just puts us in no position to be able to fight at all. Meanwhile, Ezreal's going to get stunned once again, and so that's going to be enough to score a kill. Annie now is looking to score a kill on Jarvan, and she's able to hang out long enough. Ooh, that's a really nice use of the Zanya's Hourglass right there. Dodging the Pyke ult probably would have killed her, not 100% sure. I'm going to try to get off the shields here. Not going to be enough there, so we're going to lose that. But watch Annie. She stands in place, and I'm going to go ahead and pick her off. So Annie and I, you know, I've gotten a couple kills on Annie. She's gotten a couple kills on me. I just wish that I had, like, solo lane farm, so I'd be doing the same kind of damage that Annie's doing. But really, there's not a lot we can do. I mean, they're continuing to shove over the base. Even though if we pick off a champion here or there, it's really tough because, we have all 3 inhibs down now. And once that's the case, there's very little you can do except hope that the enemy team screws up, because so many super minions are going to be flooding into the base. Their team really should probably just back because they lost Annie, and without Annie, we may be able to fight them. Also, they just wasted Bard ult there. Kled is pushing on the tower here, so we're going to look to try to claim him. He's just kind of like standing there auto-attacking the tower, not really doing much damage, but he still gets the tower, and honestly, they can just kind of do like suicide charges into the towers right now, and that'll be effective because they're so far ahead. So now, right there, we see Lucian's really low, but there's only a limited amount we can do, and we are going to be able to pick up a kill on Kled as he sticks around. Loses his Guardian Angel in the process, so that's pretty wasteful on his part. But again, we're stuck in our base right now. All 3 inhibs are down. There's nothing we can do to stop them from going and claiming Baron whenever they want. With the cute little Lunar Revel skin for the Chinese New Year right there. So they're going to look to go ahead and do that, and we can't leave our base. So again, just I think really points out how it was a mistake not to look to fight at Baron when we scored those 3 kills earlier, in particular because we had killed their jungler. And you know, maybe it goes bottoms up, maybe we get killed, but we were losing the game anyway. When you're losing the game, you need to take some risks. You need to try to make a big play to come back. If you just sit back in your base and do nothing, you're going to have what happened here, which is that we just slowly get snowballed out of the game because we can't fight for objectives, we can't fight for dragons, we can't fight for barons, and now they're able to go back and spend even more gold towards picking up items. If you're curious about the gold total, you can see that we are very far behind in gold pretty much everywhere, except Vayne is slightly ahead because Vayne has ended some killing sprees, but Vayne has not been very effective in this game overall and has died 9 times, which is obviously not great. It's hard, of course, once your team falls behind. You're going to suffer more deaths, but still not great. Getting back to Annie for a second, Annie is now up to 725 ability power, has finished a Void Staff, so Annie now has the flat 18 magic penetration and another 40%, so Annie is just doing like bonkers amounts of damage, plus 580, plus 617, plus 427. So even though we're able to pick off Lucian there because he ran into the base before the rest of his team like an idiot, it's very difficult for us to stop the 3 lanes worth of super minions, plus the enemy team having Baron and Annie being super strong. So we're going to try though, we're going to look to try to catch Annie. I am able to get her in a full combo, and once again I would kill Annie, but she has a nice Sonya's usage, and we are going to finish off the kill on her. I mean, I pretty much set that one up. Meanwhile, Vayne is trying to DPS, but she is going to get finished off. And now Ezreal's trying to go in, but oh, Rammus just has so much armor. It's not going to be enough. Again, I would like to get a kill on Rammus, but not quite enough damage. And of course, Kled is killing our base the entire time. So even though we fought reasonably well right there, there's just so little we can do with all these super minions. And yeah, the whole team being dead except for me. Do what I can, but it's not enough. And this game is going to be won by the other team in fairly routine fashion. 30 minutes, pretty normal length for a game of League of Legends right now. And I do think that Annie was the clear MVP of the game for their team. Based on the stats that I looked at afterwards, it seemed clear that Annie was the one who had carried them. But by far the most gold, not just on the team but in the game, 15,000, 15,504, and really just snowballed the game off of winning that mid lane so heavily. Poor Ezreal just fell so far. How far behind was Ezreal in gold? He was about 7,000 gold behind. So we did okay in some of the other lanes. I would say that mid just was so far behind, and in particular, and jungle as well. The jungle Rammus was really effective. Pyke did very little that I could see. So even though we lost, I was pretty happy with how I did this game. I've been, in the ranked games I've done so far, I've been playing a lot of Lux, and I've been losing a lot of Lux, but in these games I've been playing well and just losing, so I have to think that it's just a small sample size bias, or at least that's what I tell myself, and I guess time will tell as I play more games. In any case though, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you're going to be around on Tuesday night, I hope you'll be interested in joining us in our Tuesday YouTube night custom games. If not, no worries, hope that you're having a great week, and until next time, take care, see you guys soon.